And woohoo! So let's just get into this. So I'm gonna say he's adopted by Itachi and all that crap. So when he's just born, the third Hokage tells him to please adopt this child since he is very important. He's got unrivaled potential, and he could be a great help around. He could be a great help to you, and also a great deal for you to have responsibility. So he goes, sure, he would be a great friend for a great brother for Sasuke, and yeah, Itachi takes him home. He's an Uzumaki, so he has red hair. Okay, no, he doesn't. No, he's not. He is a Ultima. I'm bringing back the Ultima. He's got the Ultima, which is a red and blue dojutsu, which makes him super strong. It boosts all of his abilities tenfold. So whatever. When he's walking, when he's outside, when he's playing with Sasuke, Izumi walks up and Christian says, "Hi, Mom," because it's basically his mom. I'm gonna use Izumi doesn't die this time. And Itachi is about the age of when he killed the clan. And she goes, "Hi." But then he realizes something. He goes, "Wait a minute." You know, never mind. I didn't say it. So, about 1 year later, when they're about 5 years old, the Uchiha clan is slaughtered and massacred. Christian and Sasuke are the only survivors, but then Sasuke gets a neck chop, and Itachi picks up Christian, knocking him out, putting him on his back, but then he sees Tobi about to kill Izumi, so then he jumps in and clashes kunai, saying, "Stop, you're not going to kill her, you can leave her." Then he says, Itachi. Then Itachi yells, "Izumi, take Christian away. Take him to that place." She goes, "Okay." Then she runs out. He says, "I don't know what your deal is, but why did you have to kill her? Why did you have to try?" He says, "Look, you said Uchiha." He says, "Just don't kill her." He goes, "Fine, I won't kill her. You guys are going to join the Akatsuki. It's a special organization that's trying to bring peace to the world." He says that, sure, I'll join it along with Izumi and Christian. He could be raised as a strong shinobi for this. Then Tobi pulls out a headband, a leaf headband, and scratches it. And Itachi scratches headband, and so does Izumi. Then she says, "This is for Christian. He's gonna have a rogue headband on." Then he's gonna head out. He goes. Then he heads out. Then when they arrive at the Akatsuki base, he says, "Who might you be? Look, pretend like Kisame, Itachi, Kisame, Sasori, Deidara, Kakazu, Hidan, Konan, and Pain are still there. Are there earlier. Orochimaru's not there though. So a couple of weeks later, when they're already there, settling down, Christian goes on his birthday. He gets birthday gifts by all the Akatsuki members. The Akatsuki members aren't that bad to him, aren't mean to him at all. They'll protect him with their lives. So, for his birthday gifts, his first gift is by Sasori. He gives him something that he'd love to give. He gives him, I love to do this, the first and second Hokage puppets. Christian says, "Ooh, this seems fun." And then he's using them like wild. Going, He goes, "Cool. Datara says that Datara wants to pull like a stomach thing. He's, nope, not in a million years. You are not putting that on me. He says, come on. Then he pulls out a sword saying, I will slice your arm off. You will not put that on me. I will not have an eating stomach on me. No. I do not care if you have it. I'm not having it. Get back away from me. Get back. Datara, I know what you're planning. Get back. Then Datara puts his hand out. Christian jumps over and saying, get back, mother flipper. I'm not getting it. Izumi faints saying his first curse word. Conan says, Itachi says, is she alright? Conan says, I don't think so. He just said his almost first curse word. He says, Datara, look what you did. He says, what? He says, you tried to put a stomach thing on him. He obviously didn't like it. You should have stopped after the second no. He goes, yeah, I kinda should have. Alright, whatever. Kisama gives him a nice blade. A water blade. Kakuzu. Well, Kakuzu's too lazy to get him a gift. Christian goes, wow, you didn't get anything? I knew you wouldn't get anything. I knew you wouldn't. He goes, what do you expect from me? He goes, training? So, I'm just gonna skip all the gifts. The final gift was from Pain, and he called in one of his paths to take out their Rinnegan and give it to him. He goes, whoa. I don't want it. He goes, what? He says, I already have my own dojutsu. I know my clan has its own dojutsu. Why would I give this up? This is a perfect opportunity to see how strong I am, not to have some planted Rinnegan. Man, f that. He goes, okay, if you say so. Then he plants the Rinnegan back in his eyes. Christian says, Chief, all good. Christian says, in his training super duper hard, learning how to use art from Datara. He's basically the ultimate Akatsuki member. Learning how to use a miniature version of the he learns how to use the miniature version of what's it called? Almighty Push and Universal Pull, which is he uses his own chakra force to blast them back instead of using like the Rinnegan abilities. He can also pull them towards with like a current of chakra, which he uses. He also knows Rasengan from the scroll ceiling that Itachi stole. That he didn't steal the third Hokage allowed him to. Because he knows that he was going to train him, and he was ordered to, so he was allowed to. Christian learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu, the Flying Raijin, and every single jutsu in there. He's also learned Sage Mode from Mount Miyaboku, and also Snake Sage Mode. Basically, he has a darker blue color around him, and he's got dragons instead of snakes. And he grows 2 horns. He's also got an ultimate Dojutsu and Teke Genkai. He's the most overpowered as Christian says, alright, I'm going. When it starts, when they head there, they finally arrive, and Christian says, I'll handle this. He's nice. I'm a kid, so they'll understand. Then he knocks on the door, and then he goes, hi. And Archer says, hi, do you need something? He goes, yeah, I'd like you to come with me. He goes, okay. Nope, I'm not coming. I'm not going. Itachi's about to knock. But then Sasuke yells, Itachi! Christian goes, ah, shit. Then he backflips, going, oh, hello, Sasuke. Itachi says, you have to act more cold-hearted. He says, I am not that way, Itachi. I am not that way. He says, you called me Itachi. He says, you are not my father. I know that for a fact. I already know, because I don't look like you. Oh my, I don't look like none of y'all. So, and I don't call you dad, because I am not having him be my uncle. Oh, hell no, not in a million years. Not in a billion years will he ever be called my uncle. You have not adopted me, I am just here. Naruto and Sasuke are like, what the f? Then Sasuke says, die! Christian says, I got this. Then jumps in front, activating his ultimate gun, and saying, time skip! Time skip, jump spike! Then appears in front of him, stopping time with like an orb thingy, then flicking Sasuke in the head, then going, time resumes, and Sasuke's blasted into a wall going, Then Naruto says, ah! Christian activates blue fire wings. He's got like wings, but they're like blue fire. Then one of his wings shoots out a blue fire tornado, which hits Naruto. He goes, ah! Jiraiya would jump in saying, you're not taking Naruto anywhere. Christian says, let's just dip. I don't even... Then they're trapped in the toad mouth trap. Christian goes, then falls to one knee. He goes, then Jiraiya says, ah! And goes for a wrestling on him. He says, almighty push, blasting Jiraiya back with just his chakra pressure. He goes, ah! Christian keeps on going. Then he says, water, in his head he says, water style, breathable jutsu. And, well, actually, it's a wind style of breathable jutsu. And puts air in his mouth to clean out all the stench and all, like, the acid. Then him and Itachi run out. Him, Itachi, and Kisame dip. Christian says, here's a little parting gift. Lightning style, lightning senbon. Then shoots them out, piercing Sasuke against the wall. He says, when they're walking on water, Kisame says, Christian, why don't you use any of your abilities that are strong? He says, I didn't want to use too many. Then they'd know a lot about us. I'll be right back. Then Kakashi, Kurenai, and Guy corner them because they didn't encounter them yet. He says, "Stop right there!" And then Kakashi, with anger, yells, "You're keeping a child under your control to do your bidding." Christian gets enraged by this and then pulls out his second and first Hokage puppet, saying, "They did not force me. I did this for my own will." And then he's using his first Hokage and second Hokage puppets. They say, second and first Hokage. Then they have to fight. Christian's easily defeating Kakashi with his puppets, going, "Thanks, Sasori. Thanks, Sasori." Then he returns the puppets, putting them back in. Then he jumps up in the air saying, "C4 Dragon! C2 Dragon!" Then they fly off. Christian says, a little parting gift, and creates that giant data attack thingy that he shoots down, exploding the area from behind, leaving that place in ruins. They go, Kakashi and Guy and Kurenai Nasuma hit by this attack, heavily damaged. Christian smiles, going, little parting gift. Then they head out. He said, they both bump fists. Itachi says, "You've done good for your first mission." Then they head back, and Pain says, "Have you guys gotten the 9 tails?" Christian says, "No, and there's exactly no point of getting the 9 tails." He goes, "What do you mean?" He says, "We haven't even gotten the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, 8-tailed beasts. We should have gotten those before. I mean, there's probably a reason why we can't get those, because they're all perfect Jinchuriki, unlike Naruto." He says, "Also, I left them a little parting gift." He goes, Data rushes up in a happy fit, in like a super enjoyed face, and, "Did you use my technique?" He goes, "Yep." He says, "Yes!" Christian says, "I also used the first and second Hokage puppets. That was fun." He says, "They're pretty fun to use. And they didn't even see any of my abilities besides my blue fire wings, and my Ultron and my puppet using in Data's bomb." Then, let's just go back to Leaf Village. So, Kakashi reports to the 5th Hokage saying that we have some big trouble. There's the Akatsuki are forcing a child to do their bidding. Is a child... No, he's not saying that. She says, so Kakashi, how did it go? He says, not good. There was 3 Akatsuki members. He says, who were they? He says, one of them was Itachi Uchiha, the other one was Kisame Hochigaki, and the third I didn't know. He was a child, though. He says, are they forcing that kid to do his bidding? They say, I asked them that, and he said no. He actually liked working with the Akatsuki because they're trying to attain true peace. And then when they flew off on a dragon, the young one left a giant bomb that left a city in ruins. He says, if they're that strong, then Naruto and Sasuke will need to prepare for this guy. Let's skip to where Shippuden is, and let's just say Sasuke doesn't leave the village. Let's move on till they raid the Akatsuki base. Sakura is fighting Sasori. Christian says, Mr. Sasori, while Deidara is holding him so he won't get at him. He says, no! Then kicks off of the C2 dragon and says, Fire Style Fireball Jutsu! Shooting at Sakura and Shio. Then he lands saying, get the hell away from Mr. Sasori! Then pulls out its puppets going... Then pulls out his 1st and 2nd Hokage puppets. They go, 1st and 2nd Hokage puppets? He goes, Sasori's really damaged. Then he shoots the puppets at him, and then they're easily being destroyed. Easily being defeated by the 1st and 2nd Hokage puppets. He goes, and kicks him back. But then Sakura lands a punch which breaks his heart. Which breaks Sasori's heart. Christian goes, why you? Why you? Then he flares, his blue fire and spread. He goes, his eyes turn red and blue, and he goes, it's like the base form of Hugh guys, but then they're blue and red. He goes, Then he reversed at Sakura with lightning speed, absolutely wrecking her. Like, then he pulls out his 1st and 2nd Hokage puppets, absolutely destroying her. Then Sakura says, "Chak!" going for a chakra punch. He says, "This is it, huh?" He goes. Then he goes and sits down. She says, "What the?" He says, in his head he says, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Psych. Then disappears and grabs the back of Sakura's arm and slams her on the ground, going, that was a diversion. He says, "Now you'll pay for what you've done to Mr. Sasori." Then he yeets Sakura to the stratosphere. Then he's fighting Sakura with all he's got, going, remember, he's 16, so he's actually destroying her. Then he front flips up in the air, going, "Fire style, majestic destroyer flame!" Obliterating them both, defeating them. Then Chio would return and give away her life, but she wouldn't have enough chakra, so Naruto would join in to bring Gaara back to life, and all that crap. Then Naruto looks at Sakura saying, "Sakura, what happened to you? You have so much burn marks on her." She says, "The kid Akatsuki member is a really, really good fighter. He's about the same age as us. And he was mad when we killed his friend, so he almost killed us. Luckily, we got away." He goes, then he says, "Glad you're okay, Sakura." She says, "Shut up, Naruto." Sasuke says, "Rude." All he did was say, then all he said was, "I'm glad you're okay." He says, "Sorry, Naruto. I just was mad that he got away. We could have had another Akatsuki member gone." Naruto was kind of pissed by this, saying, "You would want to kill a child?" She goes, "Duh, he's a bad one. He's probably going to plan to attack the village one day." She says, "You're pretty heartless, Sakura." He goes, "I know." Person says, then he says, "You can stop the edgelord act. You're not cool." She goes, "Oh, it's fine." Okay, she never said any of that. Let's go into work. Kakazu and Hidan die. Kirsten says, After a while, he's watching everyone else die. First, Hidan and Kakazu die after that. Then, well, actually, before that, Deidara dies. Then, first Hidan and Kakazu die, then Deidara dies, then Pain dies. And then Itachi dies. Everyone he knows is dying. And he's starting to get sick of this, so he'll launch his own attack on the Leaf Village. He says, "That's it." When it's just him and Izumi and Toby left, Toby doesn't want to betray them since, like, they're technically his family now. He promises that he promised Itachi that he'd take care of them. Christian is pissed. So he storms out of the Akatsuki base saying, "Now Leaf Village is done." He's walking all the way over there. Then he floats up to the sky going, he says, then he drops a giant nuke on the Leaf Village, destroying everything. Then he lands and says, activating his Ultimagon, making him see everything. He goes, "Oh yeah, Kisame's still alive though." And then then all the Leaf Village tries to fight him, but he's easily killing them all, easily defeating them all. Then he has to fight Tsunade, he says. Then he pulls out the puppets and then easily defeats her, going, he says, Then when Naruto arrives, then it's all 12 Genin, the rookie 12, versus the final Akatsuki member, the strongest Akatsuki member, one of the strongest. Sasuke goes for sword slash, he dodges and kicks Sasuke in the face, easily dodging all their attacks and countering attack. But then Sakura destroys both his puppets. He goes, "You destroyed another one of my favorite belongings." Then he returns it and returns it back to school and sends it to Izumi with a note saying, "Please fix." He's so pissed. He says, then they all jump at him going, "Cha!" And they're about to finish him. He says, "Almighty push." Then blast them all back. They go, "Ah." He says, "I'm going to make you feel the pain of all my friends that you killed. All of it." They go, "What the?" Then he rushes at Sasuke, shooting a bomb at him, saying, This is for Deidara," and hits him with an explosive bird. Then he jumps in the air, saying, "Fire style fireball jutsu." Then he says, "And that's for Itachi." Then he rushes to Naruto and spins a kunai on his finger, stabbing Naruto in the gut, saying, That's for Kakazu." Then he spins around and kicks Shikamaru in the face, saying, he says, "And that's for Hidan." Then Kakashi rushes then, but he breaks Kakashi's arm and slams into the ground. And then he jumps up in the air, saying, I'm gonna say that Konan was killed in the attack of the Leaf Village by Sakura somehow. Sakura, Hinata, and Ino, because they somehow ganged up and finally got her. Then he looks at Ino, Sakura, and Hinata saying, "And this is for Konan." He creates a lightning blade and destroys all three of them. Then he looks and sees all of them are on the ground, knocked out. Defeated, he goes, evolving onto the Ultima No, aka the Susanoo. Into the perfect Susanoo, saying, "This world shall know pain." Then he's got the size of Madara Susanoo, and his coloring is blue like Madara Susanoo. He goes, shing. Then he absolutely destroys them all, cooking up like shrimp, going, then destroying a leaf. Then he flies out of there going, I will have my revenge again. But then he's hit by a Rasen Shuriken, which his Susanoo catches and instantly disperses. Remember, he's in perfect Susanoo stage, and catches it saying, this is the juice you used to kill Kakuzu. But then expands and then he throws it right back at Naruto, which explodes Leaf Village even more. And he says, that's it. Then flies almost to the stratosphere. Then creates a Chidori, because somehow he knows that. He goes, he goes, hold on, I'll be right back. I will never forgive you. Can I ask your phone for 1 minute? Please help me, just a quick 1 minute. Just one quick minute. Please, thank you. Please. Please. I promise you this is the only time I'll eat it. On my charger. Thank you. Chidori sound effect. He's on the roof. I mean, he's in the sky, and then he goes, this is for all my friends. He goes, and he is pissed. Like, he is so mad. Then he goes, as he flies down to the Leaf Village going, ah! But all Leaf Villagers, forces there trying to shoot their biggest attacks at him, and then he goes, clashing with their attacks. He goes, but then he sees all of his friends, like the Akatsuki members around him, pouring their power into him. Even Itachi, because he's mad that he killed their friends. Even though, because like he wasn't a double agent at this time, and he just, I mean, he was kind of a double agent, but not really. He goes, and the entire Leaf Village is disintegrated to nothing. After that, he goes, then flies away. The Holy Village in ruins, and there's magma under the village, but most of the villagers survive. Some of them do die. He returns home and sees Izumi dead. He goes, no, not you two. Who could have done this? This time Obito didn't kill her, actually. Someone actually, Leaf villagers broke into the Akatsuki base and killed her. He says, more Leaf Shinobi, huh? Good thing I gave them a surprise as well. Then he sends a crow to them, to the people, and once they read it, before they even get to the village, they say, thanks for killing my mom. Now you guys have more of a surprise than I do. Then when they see the Leaf Village, they just see a hot magma. They go, he destroyed our village with little to no difficulty. Then the note also says, oh yeah, you guys never killed her. She's still alive. She has a seal on her, so then she'll always remain with a tiny bit of life on her. No matter what you do, no matter if you erase her, she'll come right back together in one piece. They go, dang it, we failed our mission, and now it's even worse. Christian gathers all the Akatsuki's bodies and goes, then creates a summoning jutsu going, Ichi-o ne sarutobi saru ne, Ichi-o ne, Ichi-o ne. Months later, the Leaf Village is finally rebuilt. Christian rebuilds his puppets, rebuilds the Akatsuki, making them basically doesn't rebuild them though. He's basically depressed, kind of. He walks around ripping off his Akatsuki robe, leaving the Akatsuki, putting on his Uchiha garb, putting on a sweatshirt, and goes. Then walks out of the Akatsuki base with a hat on, with his hood on, hands in his pocket, and then walks out going. Months later, he's still walking. He still has tons of money and food. He goes, and eats a malasada going, oh, whatever, then grabs his toothbrush and just, because he's in a hotel going, then he walks away going, They're on a mission, then Team 7 is on a mission to hunt him down and kill him for what he's done to the Leaf Village. Naruto really doesn't want to do this, but he has to. Sakura and Sasuke want to kill him. Kakashi is the same as Naruto, hesitant to kill a shinobi who didn't want to do this, but who did this because we killed his friends. Then they encounter someone in a black hoodie with a mask on. Sakura bumps into him and he puts his hand out saying, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. She goes, no, it's okay. He walks away and goes, but then Sakura remembers that Chakra Prince is about to attack, but Sasuke grabs her saying, no, it might not be him. Then a demon appears beside him saying, oh, how's life? He goes, Christian says, not too good. It's like the Death Note, but it's not. He just has the demon with him. It's basically Ryuk. Let's just say Ryuk's in Naruto. He says, not really any. He says, you got any apples? He throws an apple up in the sky and somehow it's eaten. They say, what the? The apple was just eaten in midair. He goes, Then he says, Ryuk, I have another one, but hold on. He throws the apple up the sky and puts his finger up, and the apple turns 2 times bigger, and then he says, awesome, a bigger apple. He goes, yum num num. Christian says, you shouldn't eat the apple at the top, that's the stem of it. He goes, Pugh. Well, I guess I shouldn't. He goes, yeah, you shouldn't. Then he goes to his house and goes in, going, Then he sits in his house going, what to do. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura and Kakashi all go to the main office of this place and ask them if a Christian Ultima lives here. They say yes, he lives in that house over there. They go, he says, does he wear a hoodie? He says, he does wear a mask and a hoodie, so yes, that is him. He goes, okay. He says, why do you need to know? He says, because he's our target for a mission. To kill. He goes, I cannot allow you to do that, but you have to do. But since you shinobi have to do what you have to do, please do. What you have to do, just don't hurt any other civilians here that live here. He said, Sasuke says, no promises. Then he says, then get out of here. You can't be here if you're just gonna hurt my citizens if you're not. because like it's illegal. You can't just come in here and hurt my citizens for no exact reason. He goes, we're only getting one. Then he gets it. Then his door breaks down as he's upstairs sleeping. He goes, ah, great, they found me out. Then there's a big, actually no, there's a big knock at the door. He opens, he says, who is it? They say, please open the door. Official Leaf Ninja here. He opens the door and says, yeah, he says, would you mind taking off that mask? He says, I am not legally obliged to take off my mask. I don't have to. Now please leave, get off my property, or you will be sent to jail. He says, we have a warrant. He says, I don't care. Get off my property. I say, well, but then they all pull off their hoodies and say, he says, well, you're our target. He says, ah, great. Then he disappears. They say, what the? Kashikin still senses shocker and realizes that he's out in the forest. So then they say, he goes, Christian already set traps. So then they get caught in a net going, dang it! He says, don't squirrel around, don't skirm around too much, or you might set off the paper bombs in the electricity net. He goes, Then Sakura goes to punch him and hits him, but then she just phases through him. He goes, Genjutsu. Nice try. Then she punches him, then he poofs. He says, I've been a clone. Then he appears behind her, knocking her out, saying, that's what you get. Then he disappears, knocking out all of Team 7, then flying them, well actually not knocking them all out, then he throws her to the side saying, useless. Naruto says, don't call Sakura useless! And creates an Odama Rasengan going, ha! Christian activates his Susanoo ribcage and easily defends the attack and uses a Susanoo R to yeet Naruto back. He says, hit Naruto in a tree and says, please go away. I don't want to deal with you idiots. He says, I wanted to live a happy life in the Akatsuki, but nope, y'all had to ruin it. Thanks a lot. I have such a big feeling that I want to kill you all right now. Then they go for it. Then all Team 7 goes for their strongest attacks. I don't even he actually accepts his fate this time. Sakura thinks he's bluffing, so she still goes for it. But he's serious this time about dying. Then they go for their strongest attacks and hit him. But then he smirks. Then they all hit each other with their attacks, defeating them all. They go, He says, but then when they all hit him, but nothing happens. They go, what the? Then he puts on his finger saying, explosive style, explosive clone jutsu. Then the clone explodes, hitting them all back. Then a blue figure comes through the forest. He goes, Sakura goes for a punch, but he creates a perfect Susanoo, which is basically just a tap to him on the Susanoo. He says, foolish idiot, then punts her back to the Leaf Village. Then he throws the rest of them back to the Leaf Village saying, don't come back. Then he heads back to his house and changes what the house looks like, so then they won't think it's here. And he informs and then he threatens basically the mayor of the town. If he ever relays information on him again, he will kill him. So leave him alone and he's gonna change his house and don't tell anyone I live here. He finally agrees and says, I was always on your side. I only said that because they were gonna threaten kill me if I didn't tell them. That Jonin can tell if I'm lying. He says, aren't they all Jonin? He goes, no, only the top Jonin adult is. He goes, whatever. He says, I'm gonna go now. He still hasn't mastered all the scrolls, so he grabs a scroll and sits in his house, practicing all of them, and then he smiles with such a happy face and goes, yes! He goes, woohoo! Izumi yells, what's wrong? What's wrong? He says, nothing, Mom. Just found something very important that can bring back Dad. He goes, really? He says, yup. He says he learns the reanimation jutsu and goes and gathers the body of Itachi, sneaking through the Leaf's guards to grab Itachi's body, picking him up, saying, I'll make you normal. Then he goes and grabs all the Akatsuki's graves. Every one of them puts Hidan back together. Then grabs Nagato, and makes him alive and brings back Yahiko and Konan and basically everyone in the Akatsuki. He brings them back and turns them into puppets, then puts them down and puts them into coffins. A week later, he revives them, saying, "Boom." They turn into giant then they all are revived. He says, "Now for the next." They go, "What?" He goes, Then he steals Nagato's Rinnegan and puts it in his eye, saying, "Rinne Rebirth," reviving all of them. But in the process, he dies. Itachi says, "No, wake up! Wake up!" He says, "Hi." He says, "What the?" He says, "I drank an immortal potion. Now I'll stay this age forever." He goes, "So now..." Then he gives it all to all the Akatsuki members, so now they have literal immortality. They can't be killed. He says, "Now we shall go and spread the word of Jashin." Hidan goes, "Oh, yeah." Then Izumi pulls out two slippers, saying, "Did you just curse in front of him again?" He says, "Yes, but he's 16. He goes, "Yes, but he's still not allowed to swear." Activating your Sharingan, scaring the crap out of Hidan, he goes, "Ah!"